Hi there, everybody. I'm back. We crashed a little bit earlier. Man, I'm sorry. That is a bummer when that happens. I guess the video that crashed is just gonna have to be about the electricity on the Dragon. I'll have to title it appropriately and just turn these into separate concepts for the two videos. So I'm gonna continue with the body, but let's see if we've got everything working right real quick. Let me flip over and see if you guys are hearing me. Is the audio okay? Careful not to choke, says Salma. Yes, yes, I was having my sandwich. Don't eat too fast, you'll feel ill. You're so caring. I can see that you really care for me. I'm not gonna choke. I eat while I run sometimes. I like to run. I'm an expert at getting energy like fast right now when I need it. I eat a piece of bread, boom, good to go for an hour. Okay, hi Joe and all, says Noletta. All right, glad you can make it, Noletta. Everything looks and sounds good. Thank you, Leon. Thank you for telling me. So I'll flip back over and continue where I left off then. So we've got not nearly as many viewers as there were before everything crashed, which I don't blame you one bit for tuning out when the system shuts down. You never know if it's going to come back or not. We're at the mercy of technology and my inability to operate it. So in the end, I just restarted the computer, restarted a new stream, went from scratch. Something happened between my software and the server receiving the stream from my computer. Man, I'm sorry. But I appreciate so many of you hanging in there while we get it worked out. So this video now will be all about getting that female form that I've got right here to, I love peanut butter too. The female form to have the perspective that I'm looking for. So I'm going to cut to the other view that we've got here. Let me get out of the way. And this is where we left off. We've got the body going down, but I want it to come a little more forward. And at the same time, I've been darkening skin tone, so that's why we have a darker color here, lighter color here, lighter color on the face. So I darkened this, and I really am liking the effect of the electricity on this darker. It causes me to be able to see this more. Look at that darker skin tone. So now I'm going to work more on the outfit forming around the body, this leg coming forward, and I'm going to maybe work the curves a little bit to get it to look like it's not just going straight down, but it's actually coming forward. And so I'm finding this to be quite a challenge because it's hard to find that key component that I want to get this whole thing to come forward more. But I'm going to start with fine-tuning is my paint even still, all that time went by, I actually still have some wet paint on my palette right there. The palette that I'm using, I just clipped to the top. I've got like just a clamp I bought at the hardware store. And it's just holding it right there. I can move it around wherever I need it. Kind of a fun way to do it. But it looks like I might need to reapply some paint. So let's smear this out here. We don't want this. These paints have dried too much. And I'll tell you something about water-based paints. Once it starts drying, it has chemicals in it that are trying to harden everything that touches it. You want to get rid of that stuff, man. Once it starts its drying, hardening process, it is no good for working. Even adding water, it's like similar, I think, to adding water to concrete after it started to harden. There's just no using it once it's gone so far. So I'm going to reapply my colors. I need orange that I'm using for the brighter colors in the skin tone. I need black for my shadows. I'm going to put some of that on here. And so I'm working out of tubes. Now, instead of my typical quarts of paint, because these tubes have a slower dry time, it's a little bit easier for me to do the small details with these. And I'll put a little yellow on there because who knows, I might need the brighter color. I'll put some red and white, and then we'll be ready to go. So here's my red, and then I've got white right down here. I got to squeeze this carefully, you know, the end gets kind of clogged up and it explodes out if I'm not careful. So now white. And I'm going to try to understand this form three-dimensionally in order to bring the shapes forward. So I feel like I could add a little better perspective on the whole thing in order to make this turn a little bit. So how about some black right in here, and I'm going to just outline this curve. I want this curve just like I did before, but I kind of lost the line. I'm going to curve it a little bit down like this, you know, so it's going around the body this way, and that will help to turn this body. And I did that at first, but then kind of lost those lines. So having those curves, I think, is one important element of this. So let's put some orange. I'm just reapplying my orange and red so that I can get a wet on wet blend. I'm going to put highlights in here like this, put highlights right up along the side, and then back along the going up toward the armpit here. Here's a little bit of highlight on that breast as well. I just need it all to look like it's not so far under the arm, trying to bring it forward. So let's put plenty of color in here. My paint is drying real fast at this point, so I have to just make sure I put enough on there that it'll keep itself wet while I work with it. Now a little bit of red for my shadows. Wherever I want to put shadows, I need to have more red on those spots, because when the black hits the orange, it's going to turn a little bit too green. So let's get a tiny bit of black now, just a very small amount, and I'm trying to make curved lines again. Let's go down here across the belly. And there's layers of paint that's trying to dry under this. So it's even when I pile the paint on, this is still drying super fast. So this is a problem that you run into when you're really trying to work details in an area, doing layers on layers. Sometimes you just have to stop and move on to a part that doesn't have a bunch of dry paint underneath, because between the paint that's starting to dry on the brush, the paint that's drying on the canvas, it's just all happening too quickly, and I do run into that problem and just have to move on sometimes. But it looks like I'm just barely getting this blended a little bit in time to get some curve to that. And then, you know, I just wanted to modify the color of the outfit enough that it looks separate than the skin. You know, I kind of have the same color as the skin tone going on there. I'm going to put some orange, red, get a little bit more brown, swooping down onto the back. Like that. And maybe a little more shadow going down on that back right here. Like this. So I like that nice dark shadow. I just got to make sure it doesn't come up out onto the top as much. I like the contrast, I like the wrinkles it leaves, but I got to keep it on the side. So I've got to make it fade fairly suddenly as it drops down onto that. Now I've just realized something. This just came to me as I put a shadow on both sides. That helped to create the effect I was looking for. So I'm just now seeing this, that having a shadow on each side says the sides are facing down more than the middle. And that's exactly what I need. I need shadow on both sides to say, hey, there's light coming from up here more than from the sides. That's it. That's what I needed. So now I just have to try to fine tune this a little. That black is a little bit of a sharp line for my liking. I want to try to fade it a little. I just put some water on my brush. There's just enough moisture in that paint to soften that edge a little bit. So now I feel like, now that I have shadow on both sides, if I enhance this with a little bit of a highlight, let's just take some orange, just orange and white, and go across these middle wrinkles. Here's the hip going up, it meets the waist, comes up along the ribs, right across the middle. We'll put a little bit across that whole thing, like that. And now I feel like I've got a better shape tipped that way. Here, let's get some more of my brown. A little bit darker maybe. I just want a real smooth transition. You know, the smoother I can make that transition from light to shadow, then I feel the more three-dimensional I'll be able to get my shape, the more natural and rounded it'll look. But I got to get I'm seeing now that it's real important to get these shadows on both sides of that shape. I'm going to go a little bit higher on this. I don't want this outfit to accidentally fall off of her boob while she's trying to have a moment with this dragon, so we got to make sure this fits. Let's go like this. And now I'm going to try to put some better perspective on this leg as well. So let me just fade that. Get a little bit softer of a blend right here. Bring that hip out a little bit more with the brighter color. So here I'm going to put a darker skin color on the leg, and so I'm thinking I'm going to go color first, and I think if I see the shadow where the butt is, I think that that's kind of low to look like a leg that's coming toward me. So I feel like if I raise that just a bit, it'll help with the perspective coming this way. And then just like the body, shadow on both sides, I think I'll get the look that I'm looking for, trying to tip this leg toward me. Light and shadow, you know, it's such a balancing act. There's so much about light and shadow that is just perceived by what your most common experience is. Like you put light on top of something, and in a flat picture you can create a three-dimensional shape, but that's just because perhaps we're accustomed to light coming from on top. But it makes it hard when you're trying to make a scene with light coming from somewhere besides above. Okay, so I'm going to put a shadow on both sides of that leg, and now that black will mix a little bit with my orange skin tone and make it not quite as bright, hopefully look like a slightly browner skin tone. I'm going for a little bit darker of a look. I'm going to get a tiny bit more black. Let's get some more of that and go on this side and on this side, and then bend it. Perspective will bend all the curves of the body parts. You know, so if it's coming toward me, I might put a little more bend on it. Let's go like that, and then here we can put white. Now this is not to make it lighter, but to take some color out. So it got black, now it's getting white, and together that's going to make it more gray. And so it was just a hair too bright for me. I wanted a little bit less on the orange tone of it. But now I need to maybe adjust the color of the outfit. It's like the outfit is the exact color of the skin tone now. So I'm going to go like this and put some, looks like I might have gone a little too gray here. So I'm going to add some red and orange again. Let's get some color back in there. Right here between light and shadow is a great place to put color. And the shadow will come across here a little bit higher than I had it the first time around. Okay, now maybe I'll put some black going right down here and right across the back of the leg here. Maybe like that. And now I'm just adjusting the curves ever so slightly. You know, human form, it's all these tiny little curves. So I have to pay close attention to the different muscles that I'm trying to represent there. So I've got shadow on both sides of the leg. Now this is too wet. I added too much water, so what I need to do is let that dry so that I can put more. I just smashed it with my hand to get excess water off. And so once this is a little more dry, I'm just going to have to go back over it again with the same kind of colors in order to get what I'm after. But that's a little closer. I want the skin tone to match what's up here. So now I'm going to go lower on the leg and make sure I've got a good amount of light on the entire thing. So here's red, orange, white. Let's go up across the middle of it. Put some down here as well. This is the calf coming this way, and I need to have light going up and across the knee, up over this leg. Like this, and I think I had some shadow on that knee that was also causing that to go a little more under than what I wanted. Okay, there's the color of the skin. Now I'm taking a little black and putting it right here where the calf muscle goes under and away. I need more paint. I have a habit of working with too small of an amount of paint when I get into these little details. So let's put the orange and red on there. Let's put the red to the side, and I'm going to try to be more generous with my paint now. Going down here, notice that I'm not really changing the shape of the leg much, more just the shadows in order to bring it more toward me. That's my goal right now, just to bring it more toward me. So I'm putting some white now where I don't have the black, and we'll go here across that ankle, put that light color going right up through the middle here, across that whole thing, so the whole leg hopefully comes more this way. And here's an opportunity for lines of perspective. I'm curving this highlight down so that that calf has a shadow. You know, shadows have shapes, and this line here, that very subtle line going upward like that, I'm hoping feels more like it goes around the leg rather than just a basic side view. Now I need some color here. I always need color between light and shadow when I'm doing skin tone. So here's one of those spots. I gotta have color. Too gray of a transition makes it look dead. So if you want skin to really look alive, you gotta put color between that light and shadow. Or maybe a better way is don't lose color between light and shadow. If you work from a mid-tone, there might not be any need to add it if you're able to just maintain what you've got. But either way, my end result needs to have color. Anywhere light moves to shadow, I've got to keep the color in it. So I'm going to put some more white right through the middle here. Maybe this goes up to this higher leg muscle, right up here. And it comes down to the knee on top of the calf. Okay, now it's starting to come together a little bit more. my voice really cracked right there. And so I'm really feeling like this is the key to what I'm after, is getting that shadow on both sides. So now I need to do the opposite leg. And I think I need to just change the color of this outfit. What do you think? Any votes on a new color for the outfit? Because what I don't like is I don't like the. Let me cut to my other camera. Sorry, you're just staring at the side of my neck here. Give me a second to switch. There we go. I don't like the color because it's not showing the contrast. It's not showing the difference between skin and I've got the same kind of brown on the fabric that I do on the skin. So ideas on color, if you want me to change it, let me know because I'm pretty open. I have no idea what color that outfit should be. But I'm going to continue with my shadows just like I've done. Shadows, and I'm going to put that light gray edge on it as well so that both sides look like they have less light than this. And since in this picture I've established, it's almost like our mind is always putting together the three-dimensional world, because after all, we look at a photograph, we understand that photograph three-dimensionally, and that has to be based on how we understand the colors and shadows, light and shadows that we see in that two-dimensional photograph. So we build a three-dimensional understanding based on these things. I've established light from the top, and so then if I put light right across this middle, that puts the middle more on top, right? You follow this is my thinking to adjust this, get the result that I'm after. Okay, I'm looking at the chat. Blue, tan. Well, we've already got tan. I think blue is a better suggestion. It's already pretty tan. Or greens. Blue like the wing, or greens. Okay, I like blue and green. We've got a theme. We don't want to be overly busy on colors. So I think that it's a good idea to use what is already in there. Let's go with that. So let me get out of the way now. And let's adjust. We're going to adjust this leg first. I've got momentum going on the leg. So let's go down here, put red and orange, and hopefully this lower knee will not look misplaced now. I need to put black on this edge. My goal is to make the shape that is affected by the perspective tell the same story as the light and shadow. You know, you get everything telling the same story, and it is more believable. So here I've got the dark shadow on the front of the leg, and then I'm going to put that coming into the light, so it'll be darker up here, and I'll add some light to it down here. So we've got a muscle that curves down here. We've got a round shape that goes down over the knee. It's going to get darker as it goes up here. Now there would be a shadow from getting so close to the body and the other part of the leg, so I'm not going to go real bright on here, but I just want the difference between the lighter and the darker parts. So I think I need some more color. I lost some color in this. Let's put red and orange. There's a Seems that there's a delicate balance between too red or too orange, because too much red looks like not very much skin pigment, and this looks like a light skin color in a shadow if I go too red on this color, because of how much of the blood you can see in the skin. But if I go too orange, then it goes the opposite way. It starts to look kind of dead, like there isn't enough blood in the skin. And the orange kind of turns greenish when it hits the black, and I don't want that effect at all. So I got to find just the right balance here. Right, here's the lower leg coming down, going behind this one. And so I think I'm going to actually, here, let's put more light on this. Let's get our red and orange mix. Lighter skin color. And I'll put a little more light in here. Add white to that orange that I mixed. This is the calf on the other side, bending and going over to the knee. And so I've got this knee here, this one here. I think I could go a little bit lower on this knee and be okay. Like that. So then maybe I'll put some darker, let me mix a slightly darker brown. So I'll tell you something else I do when I'm putting together skin tone, light and shadow on a body. Sometimes I'll just pre-mix my different values for the grading, different gradations. Right, so now I'm mixing a browner color, and I'll just make stripes of color in here. And then I'll mix a darker color and make stripes of color there, and then I'll mix a darker color and make stripes of color there. So I'm just identifying the boundary areas of my light and shadow, and then putting colors. I'm not necessarily, what I'm trying to say is, instead of blending, I just have the sharp cutoffs to the different colors that I want to blend, put them close together. That's what I'm trying to explain. Okay, so now I want to put the light gray outline. Actually, I think this could use a little more shadow here on that side of the leg. So I'm going to grab that darker brown and go here as well. Darker brown right in here. Like this, around that knee. Maybe a little bit of water, because this paint is drying pretty quick on me. A little bit of water there, bump out for the knee, back in again right here, down on the shin, like that. And now one of my favorite effects of all time is just doing that gray edge on the very edge of the skin. So I'm going to grab a black and white mix and go like this, put this edge coming out here right on the very edge of this, go down like that, and then over here I'll go out to the very edge like this, onto the knee, and then under like that, and then down, slight curve on the shin. I just love that effect of that gray and what it does. Okay, now let me examine it for a minute. It still looks like that knee is a little bit low, but I'm not going to give up on this process. I'm going to put a little bit more gray just on the other side of this shadow, just because I like the effect that it has in outlining this form. Let's go a little bit less here because it's in front of the other leg. like that. Get that lighter color, and then I'll put some right here on the back side. And then here I kind of shave off the edge of this. There's the foot. Someone said it's a fairy foot. It's a very tiny foot. All right, now I want the, I'm going to make this maybe this needs to tip out a little more extremely, and I need to see more shadow. Perhaps I'm seeing like this light gray here is breaking the shape of the body too high, where here maybe I need to see the shadows of the backside of the clothing coming down, or the backside of the other leg. So I'm going to put some dark brown in there so that I have the perspective, because if this was tipped upward and this leg was bent, then I might see a lower shadow here, the backside of the butt maybe. But I got to put just some dark color so that I don't have this light. I think that light gray is messing with it. So we'll take this here. I might have to mess with this a little bit before I get it just right. I'm going to go a little bit wider on that knee. Kind of lost some of the width of the leg, and I like that. Okay, and now let's see, I can put a foot right here. Let's put a foot. Oh yeah, of course. It needs the rest of the leg. It's a pretty important part that I'm missing here. Let's put our orange in place. We need red and orange. And then some black around the edges. I'm going to grab a thing to sit on here, and let's zoom in a little bit. Here you go. We'll go a little bit closer on this so you can see what I'm working with. Okay, I gotta get my body a little bit lower to work on this. I'm hunching over. Now here I'm going to put dark on the edges right here and put a foot. I got to pay attention to this length that I've got. So I really need to have the foot maybe bend over right there, or maybe bend down this way. Like that. Yeah. Okay, we'll put the heel going this way. And then put the foot going this way. And I feel like those feet could be a little bit bigger. So let's put some highlights. Let's put a highlight right there, a highlight right here for the heel, going down across this back foot. And let's put a highlight here to make this foot a little larger. Here we go. Bring that pinky toe out further. And then I'm going to take some red and orange, make myself a brown, put a shadow on the edge of this ankle right here, shadow on the bottom of this foot, between the toe and the foot, right there. You know, if you just don't put details that look wrong, you can make a really great looking form with small amounts of detail. You just need to make sure that wrong looking details are absent. So anything that's an eyesore, like this is a little bit of an eyesore, this little spot, let's get rid of that. Just pull it down. Now it's just faded out. And so the absence of shapes. Okay, this shadow on top of the leg, to me, that's what I would call an eyesore, because it's looking like something other than the gradual bend from the calf to the Achilles tendon. So I'm going to take this brighter color and put it up there. I'm not trying to build every part with great detail so much, but I'm really just to a great extent looking for anything that stands in the way of just imagining what the rest of the form suggests. And so then imagination very quickly completes everything else if I just get the strange looking things out of the way. So, not that I'm an expert at doing that, but that is a useful pattern that I've found to really be true, is that if I can just get the unnatural things out of the way, imagination will fill in a lot of the blanks for me. All right, I think I need a little more angle on this right here. That lighter color needs to come a little more up that way, like that. And I like the shape that I've got now. I just need the colors to be consistent. So maybe here, this curve is kind of funny to me. This curve right here, it curves low. You know, a shin has a curve on it, but not that low. The curve of a shin is a high curve. And so that's where, you know, if it was anything besides human form, like I've been saying for this whole painting, the whole duration of this, then we don't really care about details that small. But when it comes to human form, there's all of this real strict criteria for exactly where a curve is located. And what is the, you know, what is the center of the curve? Is it higher? Is it lower? All these little tiny details make a difference on that. Okay, I'm just putting some color in between the light and the shadow on this leg, trying to keep it dark enough that it's consistent with the rest of the picture. And so then I'm going to try to adjust that curve of the shin, because that's sort of a funny looking calf coming down. So let me grab my highlight color, my lighter brown, and put this heel back in place. I really need a heel to bump back and above, you know, the rest of the leg. And I need this ankle bone to come down. It needs to come straight down like that. Let's go forward toward the toes for this arch of the foot. I'm leaving a shadow under there. And then then I'm going to thin out that ankle a little bit. So let's get some gray or some black. I could do the shadow first, or I could do the gray first. I want a dark brown that goes, thins out a little more, just like the other ankle. Make them consistent with each other. Okay, we've got ankle to shin on that one, and then I'm going to change the angle of that one. Boy, I get tongue-tied between ankle and angle. The angle of the ankle confuses me to try to narrate what I'm thinking sometimes. Okay, so let's get some gray. Black and white to make a gray. And put that gray right along here, like that. I'm going to chop off some of this, make that straighter, make that edge straighter right there as it goes down toward this back foot. And then I'll take some gray and go along here, like this. Then under this foot. Whew, man, details, tiny details. Like I said, if it were anything other than a person, I wouldn't care. Nobody would care. Let's put more of that brown down here, like this. I need a little more shadow under here. And let's go a little more this way. This has to meet up with that. Has to look like it meets up with that leg. Okay, we're gonna flare out this way. Oh, that looks better. I kind of flared the shape out like this. That was an improvement. Okay. Let's get our darker brown color right here. I actually think all this time it was the flare of the ankle that was the main issue in the strange shape. So now I've got the bone flaring out like that, and it seemed to correct the flow of the shape going into that leg. So now I'm going to mix a lighter brown. It looks like I'm running out of orange, so let's put some more on there. And my shape is starting to look better to me. Those legs look like they're just slightly coming toward me now. And so I'll zoom back out. Zoom back out a little bit. Let's look at this. Oh yeah, I love that. Love that form. Just needs developed a little bit more, but I like the way it's turning out. Okay. So what was I doing? I needed to make a brown, and I want to see a little more highlight in here, I think. So let's get orange, red, a little more color right here on this calf, so that this comes forward a bit more, because I need that to have the same upward facing effect on it that I have on this leg. I want these both to look like they're facing slightly upward. So if I have light on that, it'll avoid looking like it's going down under the shadow of the body. Light right across the middle of the leg brings that middle forward. And then I'll put light right across this one. I think a little more of this light color. I got to be careful how light I go, but I think I can go a little lighter. I can make a real gray color across here, across that center, without it ceasing to look like skin tone, as long as I have the color in the shadows, in color between light and shadow. So color in the shadows is good too. I want that, but here is where most of the difference is made, is between light and shadow. That's where I want color. So whatever colors I want to use for the highlights and shadows, I can experiment with that. I'm going to put more orange here and see how that looks. Add some red to it. So as long as I have that color right in between them, then I'm good to go. If you've ever wondered why paintings of people can look dead, that right there is the answer. Because there's not enough color between the light and the shadow. And so that causes an effect that is opposite. It's what paint does, it's not what light does. And we want to mimic what paint would do, not what light would do. Look how these slightly unmixed colors, look how I'm just seeing, man, I like the way that resembles skin more. The slight fluctuations in the color look more like skin. Isn't that cool? I really like that. Okay, so now I'm going to put a different color outfit. This is kind of boring having just the, I mean, it's all right, but I would like it better if it had some exciting color. So I like the idea of blue and green, especially since she's got She's got that bright red hair to contrast with it. It's not bright red. I guess it's more of, I don't know. A lot of you would know better than me what you would call a color combo on hair. I know you've got, there are words, there's terminology for hair that you use for the coloring styles. Maybe I should learn those before I try to make videos about hair, what you call the different styles. Okay, I'm going to make a blue and green outfit. And the greater I make the contrast, man, how many times have I repainted this outfit? The greater I make the contrast between light and shadow, the more reflective this outfit is going to look. So let's put a good bright color. I'm gonna watch the brightness. I accidentally touched that with a little black, but I think it's going to be fine. So it's brighter up in here. And then I'm going to put the black on the edges down here. Need a little bit more of that. Black there. We've got blue across the middle. I've just got to get the paint in place first. This is my workflow. Get that paint in place and then worry about moving it around. You got to get enough on there that it's movable before I can worry too much about where I'm moving it to. You know, I just got to get it in place. So I'm going to put more blue, and this is really going to try to dry fast on me. Here we've got white going across. So now I'll put these highlights, I'll put these little strands of the fabric coming down this way. And then let's go over the hip with this highlight color. And I'm just keeping the direction of the brush strokes curved because that maintains that perspective there of a body that's going back as I go higher. Yeah, I do like that contrast better. Being able to see this, see more difference between the clothing and the body. I like. Okay, let's put this going down on the other side of this thigh. Fix that line. Look at my shaky hand. Ugh. The bristles stay steady while my hand shakes. If they're stuck to the canvas, you know, the bristles stay steady. All right, let's put white right in here. I like that bright color, it's fun. Put some highlights on these coming down. Again, the curve I think is real important to help maintain that direction. I'm just putting more and more white because it seems like that color just takes it over. Okay, I've got the shape of that hip to think about. You know, I come forward like this for that hip bone. And then I've got ribs up in here. I could put a little more light right there. Come across here. All right. I lost my transition to shadow here. Look at that. Let me try to get that back. Here's my dark phthalo blue. Let's go up on the back and then fade over like that. And then my highlight needs to angle back too. So I got to put a bend on it. I want to see a visible bend at the waist like this. This way, then this way. Ooh, that blue goes good with the electricity bolts too, huh? Okay, let's go that way and hopefully get enough shadow in here. Like that. Put some here. What do you think? A little green? Let's put some green, see what it looks like. can't really see the green too well on camera though. That's the thing, it doesn't come out on video so well, that real bright phthalo green. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to put some highlights in here. There, now she's got a nice shiny little outfit. And so then let's see if we can work with this a little bit. I'm going to refine the shape of this area, because if I can just create the look of the perspective on the butt, you know, as much as I love painting butts, this is not about that. This is an important body part that I need to have real good perspective in order to create the angle that I'm looking for. So I really need that shadow to cover up some space as the body's turning this way. So I've got it curving around the leg, coming down this way. Maybe I need to put some more of the outfit, you know, since I've established it's got these strands coming down. If I put that coming out from the other side too, I think that'll help create this angle on there. And then I need some shadow. I need this whole area in here to have shadow. Right there. And so then let's put a little bit of black maybe right in here, like this. There, see how that kind of creates some three-dimensional shape to it. And now I'm going to put the wing coming back over it, because I've got some, I just had to get that, in a good position, but now I need the wings to have their perspective too. I like these strands coming down, they're fun. Okay. Maybe I'll put that shadow coming a little higher up here. I like the way that looks going down that edge. Right here, now that it's blue, I'm going to need a more purple highlight on that edge, but I'm going to wait and get the background done before I go there, because probably won't even see it against that. You know, I want to have a better color. Actually, I'll just make it darker. I think I can do it. Change my mind. We're going to make purple outline. So I got too much of that paint on there. Let's grab this and some blue and make ourselves a good, nice, vivid purple color. And maybe lighten it just a touch so that we can really see that color, but it needs to be darker than that background. So how light do we go is the question. So when the background colors hit this edge, this is where I'm thinking we should have this color. So it goes shadow and then it goes to reflection. That, let's go around here again. Let's go down there. There, look how nice that purple looks. Let it dry, it'll be a little darker than this. I'm going to go right up here and do the same thing across the chest. Like this. Go down right there. And I think we need some right in here as well. Like that. Now I've got both sides kind of going down like that. Let's put a little bit in here. This will look good. Some reflection on that edge. You know, get a nice reflective color. Now we need the butterfly wings coming down. Fairy wings, not butterfly wings. What am I thinking? Let's put the orange right here, maybe a little red. And then I just want to complete that wing. Ooh, I like that red down there at the bottom. Look at it fading from red to yellow. That's a nice look. I'm gonna use deep red right here. You know what? One thing I've always admired about butterfly wings, moth wings in nature is the absence of ugly color combinations. This is why I you know, and I'm not trying to preach at anybody, but this is why I am firmly convinced that these things are designed by God Himself to look nice. Because I just can't imagine just so many, one good combination after another. I just cannot imagine so many all coming out so much better than what we can design ourselves by any other form of control. You know, it's designed. It has all of the criteria of just being a work of art, you know. I'm going to put this tail coming down. I just want that wing in front. Man, I love that red contrast in front of that blue dress too. Okay. Now how about a little more orange to brighten it up a bit? Let's put that in there, some in here. I'm going to wash my brush. This was where I really wanted it to look like the light was coming through this wing, so I shifted the hue as it came right up in here, leaving the shadow of that back wing coming across. So I want to make sure that I maintain that look right there. So this is gradually getting more red as it goes down, more toward yellow as it goes up. And maybe we have some color in there as well. How about an edge on those wings though? Wouldn't that be nice? Let's make some kind of a nice, it needs something. It needs something on the edge. And so I feel like some border would be nice. Let's try since it's the color I've got, let's try this light whitish, purplish color. All I want to do is just define my edges. To make a painting more finished, I just need to see edges. So I'm just going to put an edge on this, going down here, like that, and let's kind of blend that upward. As long as I go in the path of where I know those veins are, you know, it helps me make a more believable wing if I do that. I'm going to take that same light purple and make an edge over here. Just trying to make nice, clean edges now wherever I want a more finished look. That's kind of fun, that light purple color on the edge. I like the way the effect that has. Let's go up there and make this one. Maybe it gets a little darker as it comes across here and bends and doesn't quite catch as much light. And then we'll put the orange back in there, opposite color. Maybe some shadow. I'm just going to fade it into that color there. Nice smooth gradient from that purple to that orange. Man, I like that. Okay, now I'm going to put some of my edge color on the other wing as well. Let's take some of this real light purple that I mixed and put it along this edge. And then I'm going to go up and around here. We got to go behind this wing like that. And then this one's got to come out this way. So let's go like this, put some light colored designs going up this way along that edge. Got our white purple mix in here. I think I can go brighter in here. Let's go a little more white because that's facing more up toward the light. Yeah, maybe some pure white would be good. let's do this. Pure white right here. You know what this painting needs is a better sky. Before I can call this finished, I want to put a sky in place. I want to put a sky in place that really sets the mood, you know. I want a better mood for this picture than just, I don't know, just kind of boring, just a blue sky. Blue sky and tropical looking water, or a pretty turquoise water anyway. Okay, let's see what ideas that you guys have, because I'm starting to run out, and I'm running out of time, but I'm glad we started up again after that failed. Ugh, stream crashed. I hate when that happens. I got to figure out how to manage my equipment better. Okay, red and orange. One thing I just now remembered, I just remembered before I go read some of the live chat, I'm going to put some shadow in the ear. Right here we've got that little ridge coming across the lobe. This is the dark shadow that kind of curls around like that. And then we're going to go under this ridge here. I think I just put my hand on wet paint on that wing. And then let's get a brighter brownish orange skin color right here to do the lighter spots in between those shadows. Just like everything else, I carefully studied the parts of an ear in order to more quickly produce that look that they have, where we have this little ridge spiraling around after it comes off of the lobe right there. So now just adding color to those shadows makes it look like the inside of something made of skin instead of plastic or some other lifeless material. Just putting color in that shadow. And I want to put darker skin color on that face as well. I wonder if I could just layer a little bit of my brown that I've got in my brush right on top of it. Just call that good for now. There, darker. Boom, done. Just like that. Okay. Be kind of nice to have some highlight on her cheek though. Here, let's do a brighter color right here and go right to the side of the cheek. I really like this shadow on a head. I love that line. Real good looking line, you know. Oh, I got to get rid of the blue hair. We got blue hair still showing right there. But if she compulsively dyes her hair a different color all the time, like so many of us, then maybe it's just leftovers from the last project at the salon. But I think I'm going to go ahead and make it nice and tidy. I'll put some red. I lost my red. It dried. Got to get some more of that. I'm just going to take out the blue hair, make the sideburn on the front of the face. Here. You can look at that face a little closer up. I think it's harder to see in there. There's the head. What's going on? Says, hui. Very Avatar-ish, but so much. Hey, you think it's better than Avatar? All right, thank you. That's a high compliment. Okay. Let's put the red right here. I want red hair going down onto this face, and then I'm going to get some of my brown color that's on the face and blend this. I want a softer line right there. And then how about I get some of my black and put shadows across that red going down where I have this transition from the skin color to the hair color. Like that. Now I'm going to get a little more, having my colors on hand, getting to my colors as fast as possible is the balancing act that I am trying to perform when I'm doing these blends. Blending that hairline into that skin color. Let's get a little more red for this spot. It turned kind of green. Now I'm going to get rid of that hair that was right there, and we'll put some... Well, look, the red looks nice on the cheeks. Let's go across here. It's on that lower part of the cheek. If you want to put red on cheeks, it's on that lower part of it that it appears. Go right there. There we go. Look how that makes the face more slender. See how the shadow below, the light above, puts a three-dimensional shape on that face? You can make something look, I just think it's real fascinating that it can create a more slender face without even changing the outline of the face at all. I'm going to put a darker shadow under this top lip. More red and darker so that I can really see that expression. Let's go like this. I think that had too much black. There we go. And I'm going to put the corner of the mouth ever so slightly going further back. Oh, now it's all serious. Isn't that amazing how a tiny, tiny dot on a face immediately affects it? Okay, now I'm going to take some brighter color and raise this bottom lip up a tiny bit. Like that. I kind of want to see just barely an opened mouth. Wouldn't that be cool? Let's take some darker shadow color. I'm going to get a darker brown. So black, I don't have orange, so I'll use yellow. Dark orange is brown. And I'm going to put a little shadow right in the middle of this mouth. Let's take some black. Just to adjust this expression, we're going to put a dot right here. Right there. And then what I'll do is I'll bring the blue of the sky in. Let's see if this works well. Now I need my bright blue of the sky. Here on the edge, let's go blue and white. Here. I think this is the smallest face that I've ever spent this much trouble on. So I'm going to use the background color to just cut off the parts of the shape that I don't want. And we'll go in just a tiny bit. Like that. There, look, open mouth. Man, isn't that amazing that you can do the tiniest thing? Man, I just can't even believe it. It feels like that shouldn't make a difference, but then there it is. There it is. It makes a difference. Okay, so now I'm just using that background color to do the rest of my edge on the face. Let's make the eyelashes a little better. I just cut off the front of the eyeball just a touch, like that, so that it doesn't pop out quite as far. Hopefully leaves more of a little eyelash coming off there. I could do it. I could, this is a good enough brush. I've got a small enough point on it. I can put a tiny little eyelash going like that. There. Cool. Brow, I'll bring the brow a little bit higher. Okay. I got a little splash of black on there. I'll have to adjust that. Okay, I better move on to other parts of this painting, but I think we're out of time. I got the body of the fairy mostly completed. At least it's good enough to say, hey, let's move on. I'll worry about the tiny details later. Let's see if there's any more great ideas out there. We've got hey, all right, love her hair. I'm glad. Thanks for that encouragement. Here, let's switch the. You're looking at my ear. This is our close-up model of the ear that I just painted. Sorry, sorry about that. Okay. So man, that was a pretty tough battle. I think that I've got to wrap this up. I got going, and I just, I really wanted to have that done today. Very unfortunate that it had to be stopped, when I was working on it, the first video earlier this morning, but now I've got 2 videos instead of 1. Having too much fun. You've got to have fun if you want to make progress. Very hard to learn and improve at something if it's not fun. Well, at least in my experience, that's the way it is. How do you do tiny details with that brush? Pretty amazing. I'll show you how I do it. This brush has a very sharp point right there, and when it starts to lose that point, I'll stop using the brush. So I actually find these easier to do detail with than like a spear tip brush, because that point just gets so tiny. I can just put my hands on the painting and control my distance and barely touch. All right. My idea is break things. That's funny. You're welcome, KL. 2 right feet. It does look like 2 right feet. That's true. It needs a little bit. Let's adjust that real quick. Hang on. Now that you said it, I can't not see it. Oh man. All right, you're not allowed to watch videos anymore. You're fired. You're gonna make my job hard. All right, let's cut to this one. Let's go down here. And, oh, sorry about the shakes. Sorry about the shakes. Let's go down here. All right, we got 2 right feet. Let's change it. Okay. Brown. We need brown for a shadow because we've got to get that concave that's seen on the inside of the foot and not the outside. So I'm putting yellow and red and black together. Then I'm going to go down here and put a arch. We need an arch like this. We need a shadow in there like this here, shadow under the ankle, and maybe a little more shadow. How would that be? I made an outside ankle is what I did. This is the ankle, would be on the outside. So the other ankle would have more of a slope like this. So let's put some shadow here. Shadow at the Achilles going this way. Now let's take some bright color. Now we've got red, yellow, and white. Hopefully this is still just wet enough to blend. And we're going to swoop it this way, like this. We got to have that curve for the inside, huh? All right, where's that brown color? All right, paint's drying too fast on me. Let's get some water on that surface. Now I'll put my highlights back in. Right here, curve this down this way. Make a highlight on that heel. There we go, there we go. That's an inside ankle now. Too right. Man. All right, you busted me on that one. Okay, let's put a little more angle on this heel. Make sure that we've got the look of that inside arch. Like that, really get that. Now flatter on this side. You'll see lots of difference between them, hopefully. All right, well, hopefully that looks better. It's the best I can do. Best I can do at the moment. Let's go over here now. Let's cut back. And Dancer, Before she became a dragon master, she was a stripper. No, no. You're so awesome. Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks. I appreciate that compliment. 2 left feet. No. 2 left feet. No, no. That is the outside of a... No, I can't do this. I'm just going to have to live with my with my imperfections. Now the left calf is too dark. Left calf too dark. Yes. Well, you know, there's always things to fine tune. You just want to drive me crazy. They're priceless to me. Thank you so much for your time. Hey, you're welcome, Sly. You're welcome. I appreciate that very much. I'm going to be back here tomorrow, but not Thursday. Just so you know, I have to, we're doing a trip. We're doing an out-of-town trip. I'm not going to do the live stream on the usual Thursdays. So it'll be just tomorrow, where I guess I'll be doing the very final things. I want to change the sky in the background. I want to complete that. Set the mood for this picture now that I've got my characters in place and something strange happening between them. I want to set the mood with the rest of the background, maybe simplify it. It doesn't have to be real elaborate now because the picture is about these. So that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. Thanks for sticking with it today. Hey, you bet. Hey, it's worth it if you're watching. It's worth it if you're watching. You know, I wouldn't be doing this job. You know, I wouldn't be learning so much, having so much fun, if it weren't for all of you that constantly take the time to watch. Even if you're watching just to leave obnoxious comments or put thumbs down on my videos, hey, still makes my day. The traffic is fun for me. It gives me something to do besides just paint random pictures from my imagination. It's nice to have some purpose. Awesome, thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. Aaron, you came back. All right, cool. I wasn't sure if I was going to see you again. Thanks for coming back. I appreciate that. These tutorials are amazing. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. Stay safe. God bless everyone. All right, Sly, appreciate the kind words. I'm going to shut down the live stream now, and I really hope to see you all back again if you're able to make it. I know you got busy lives, you got things going on. And so, no worries if you're not able to make the 9 a.m. show tomorrow morning. But I'll be here and finishing this painting. So we'll see you then.